The secret affair. When family becomes the enemy, it only takes one moment, one decision that seems harmless at first, to unravel everything you've spent years building. One kiss, one glance, one touch. That's all it took for everything to fall apart. What started as a secret has become the most dangerous thing I've ever been a part of. It's funny how life can change so drastically, how everything can seem perfect until that one moment of weakness. I had a family. I had a life. My husband, Thomas, and I had been married for over 15 years. We had a beautiful house, 2 kids, and everything we needed to be happy. Or at least I thought we did. I loved him, or at least I thought I did. But somewhere along the way we drifted. We became 2 strangers living in the same house. And then there was Alex. Alex was my brother's best friend. He had always been a part of our lives, someone I considered family. But over the years, our relationship had evolved into something I didn't understand, something I never expected. When I first met him, I didn't think much of him. But as time passed, as the distance between Thomas and me grew, I found myself drawn to Alex in a way that terrified me. It was something I couldn't control, and that scared me even more. It started innocently enough. He was a constant presence in our family gatherings, a friendly face, always there when we needed him. But as I spent more time with him, as we shared more quiet moments alone, I started to see him differently. He was still the same Alex, but there was something more to him, something I had never noticed before. There were glances, lingering touches, moments when our eyes met and neither of us looked away. And each time it happened, my heart would race and I would feel a stirring deep within me, a desire I hadn't felt in years. I tried to ignore it, tried to convince myself that it was just my imagination, but I couldn't. The more I tried to fight it, the stronger the pull became. One evening, after a family dinner, everyone had gone home except Alex. We were sitting in the living room, the house quiet and empty. I don't know what made me do it, but I looked at him differently that night. The way he smiled at me, the way his eyes lingered on mine, made my heart beat faster. And then he said it. "You know, I've always admired you," he said, his voice low, barely above a whisper. I froze. My breath caught in my throat. "What do you mean?" I asked, my voice trembling. He leaned in, his face inches from mine, his breath warm against my skin. "I've always thought you were the most beautiful woman I've ever known. But lately, I've been thinking about you in ways I shouldn't." I wanted to pull away. I wanted to tell him to stop. But I couldn't. I didn't want him to stop. In that moment, all the emotions I had buried deep inside me, the loneliness, the longing, came rushing to the surface. Without thinking, I kissed him. And when his lips touched mine, everything else disappeared. The kiss changed everything. It was like stepping into a new world, a world where my responsibilities, my marriage, my family didn't matter anymore. All that mattered was Alex. All that mattered was the fire that had ignited between us. The next day, everything felt wrong. I looked at Thomas, my husband, and I felt nothing. How could I love him when Alex made me feel alive? How could I be the woman he needed when I had already betrayed him? But it wasn't just the guilt that consumed me. It was the desire. The way Alex made me feel like the woman I once was, the woman I had forgotten about, the woman who had been lost in the roles of wife and mother for so long. With Alex, I didn't feel invisible. I felt desired. And that feeling was addicting. I tried to stay away from him. I told myself that I was a wife, a mother, and that I needed to focus on my family. But every time I saw Alex, every time I heard his voice, I was pulled back in. I couldn't stop thinking about him. I couldn't stop wanting him. And then came the next kiss. The next touch. It happened one night when Thomas was working late. Alex and I were alone in the house, sitting in the living room, talking. Our conversation turned to something deeper, something more intimate, and before I knew it, we were kissing again. This time, there was no hesitation. There was no doubt. It was a moment of complete surrender. The affair escalated. We couldn't stay away from each other anymore. We found ourselves sneaking around, meeting in secret. Every time we were alone, the desire became overwhelming. And every time I left Alex, I felt a part of me breaking. A part of me that I didn't even know was still there. But as the affair deepened, so did the lies. I became good at pretending. I became good at playing the role of the perfect wife, the perfect mother, while secretly betraying my family. I told myself that I was justified, that I deserved this happiness, that I had a right to feel alive again. But deep down, I knew the truth. The truth was that I was destroying everything I had worked for, everything I loved. And yet, I couldn't stop. One night, everything came crashing down. I had just finished a secret rendezvous with Alex and was heading home when I saw Thomas standing in the living room, waiting for me. His face was pale, his eyes cold. "I know," he said, his voice steady though his eyes were full of pain. "I know about you and Alex." The world stopped. I wanted to deny it, to tell him it wasn't true, but I couldn't. The guilt, the shame, it was all there, written all over me. The silence between us was deafening. Thomas didn't yell. He didn't even cry. He just stood there, looking at me, and for the first time in years, I felt like I was seeing him for the first time. The hurt in his eyes was more than I could bear. "You betrayed me," he whispered. "You betrayed us." I didn't know what to say. The words I had been dreading to hear had finally come out, and now I couldn't take them back. I had ruined everything. I had destroyed my family, my marriage, my life. But even in the face of all the pain, I couldn't let go of Alex. He was there in the back of my mind, in my heart. The love I had for him, the passion, was too strong to ignore. Now as I sit here, I know that my life will never be the same. My family is broken. My marriage is shattered. I have lost everything, and it's all my fault. But no matter what happens next, I will always remember the way Alex made me feel, the way he made me feel alive. But was it worth it? Was the affair worth losing everything for? Have you ever made a choice that destroyed everything you had? Have you ever faced a temptation that you knew would change your life forever? Share your thoughts, your stories, or your feelings in the comments below. I'd love to hear what you think. If this story resonated with you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Join me on this journey and stay tuned for more stories that reveal the deepest corners of the human heart.